Welcome everyone, my name is Forex Extraordinaire and I am incredibly late to the Aquatic Stellaris DLC announcement, but anyhow, as I do love Stellaris and like playing it from time to time, I thought I'd break it down for you guys who are also late stragglers, talk about some of the features, and boy oh boy, this has been a long-awaited DLC pack. People have been requesting it all the way before Necroids, and let me briefly go over some of the features before kind of trying to go a little bit more in depth, and then I'll try to just give some brief commentary on the features. So this pack has 15 new aquatic portraits, one aquatic-themed robotic portrait, a water-themed ship set, Here Be Dragon's Origin, Ocean Paradise Origin and Angler's Civic, a Hydrocentric Ascension perk, and then aquatic species traits, aquatic advisors, and then 4 aquatic name lists. This by itself is pretty impressive, but I wanted to specifically highlight the fact that there's going to be 4 aquatic name lists. Usually there's only 1 or 2 name lists for the expansion pack or the content pack specifically. Expansion packs are usually a bit broader, but the species pack, they usually only have 1 or 2 lists. I think the Necroids had like maybe 2, but I think the most we've ever had was like maybe 3 for the machines. So really excited to see that they're going all out. 15 new aquatic portraits. I think that's also a little bit more than the average amount, and there also are a lot of origins, 2 origins, a water themed ship set. Again, the ship sets are typical, that usually comes with the pack, so that's not really too surprising. And then we have some interesting civics, and I also want to talk about the civics very briefly, and then I'll try to end the video there and keep things short and to the point. So one of the kick-ass features, and I just love how the devs are just going completely AWOL and adding all of these huge new features with the Origins. They've just been really capitalizing on them, and lo and behold, we have this amazing space dragon, which just roams around the system, and it also has this aquatic design too. And basically, you start with this kick-ass space dragon roaming your home system. This kind of reminds me of the thing, if you guys remember, when you go the Psionic Ascension path, you have the little spiritual, it's like the spiritual guardian you can kind of get when you roll with the shroud and whatnot. You get this little spiritual guardian hovering around the system. I don't know if that's still a thing. I haven't played Psionics in a while, but I think this is going to function very similarly, or at least using the coding. So it's going to be very potent early on. You're basically getting a free shroud kind of guarding you right from the start. So you're going to start with a space dragon, and for the pacifist players, it's going to be very potent if you don't like to build your fleets or whatever, or if you don't like to build your fleets up too early, and if you're kind of focusing on building your planets, maybe you're having a 1 planet city challenge, this is going to be very potent, just to kind of dissuade the AI from attacking you. Or even if you're playing multiplayer, it's going to be funny to just have this dragon, which is basically a no entry border control officer, where he basically dictates who can and who can't enter. So not sure about the specifics of the power for that dragon, but definitely going to be very punishing for players that want to try to take advantage of the more peaceful and pacifist just empires in Stellaris. There's also some very pretty ship sets they've been showing off. I almost said that ship shits, but the ship sets, they've been showing off a lot of that too. Very cool to kind of see, along with some of the skins too. They have like a dolphin, they have some kind of weird hybrid between a mammal, I don't know if this is an amphibian, and like some kind of axolotl, and then there's also some kind of weird squid mix between a mantis shrimp with kind of its color palette. So very interesting and original, I think, design. Stellaris has always kind of looked to base their creature models off of real life inspiration as well as some sci-fi inspiration. Speaking of hunkering down with the Here Be Dragon's Origin, we also have the Aquatic Civic, which costs no extra points, and it has ocean habitability plus 20%. I actually think this is a species trait, sorry, not a civic. Housing usage on ocean worlds minus 10%, then food, energy, and mineral output on ocean worlds plus 10%. So this is optional, I believe, and then it's further amplified by the Hydrocentric Ascension perk. So if you feel like you want to be fairly ocean-based, and you can always go for the Aquatic Civic, or the aquatic species perk, I keep messing that up, or if you just kind of want to play a normal game with the aquatic portraits, you can always just kind of turn that off, which is always a very nice option. We also have the Ocean Paradise, which is an origin perk, I think, as opposed to Here Be Dragons, and this civilization has enjoyed peace and a generous environment with no natural enemies, enabling unhindered growth and opulence, and you start in a very big, size 30 ocean world with rich food deposits and bonuses to happiness, pop growth speed, and output. And then you have guaranteed habitable planets are instead frozen worlds. So this is kind of a trade-off. You're not going to have as big of a punishment for kind of like with Life Seeded, where you start off as a very, very good size 25 Gaia world. Size 30 is going to be pretty strong, so I'm not too sure how good this will be. So it's kind of, again, a trade-off between whether you want a bigger ocean world, home world, and you want to build up tall, and whether you want to kind of just expand and terraform but have a smaller ocean world and kind of forego the ocean paradise origin. We've already covered Here Be Dragons, and that's just kind of the gist of the pack itself. Hydrocentric is also a very, very interesting civics perk here, as it decreases your ocean terraforming cost. And this Aquatics pack just has a theme of kind of centering your empire around oceans and making them more habitable, specifically for your species. So the Hydrocentric perk makes ocean terraforming cheaper, allows the construction of ice mining stations on star bases, and then you can also expand planetary seas, which is a decision on ocean worlds. And then species with the aquatic trait, again, this pairs very well with it. The devs even note it. Trait, it gains 50% greater benefits for living on ocean worlds, but penalties for living on non-wet worlds are likewise amplified. And then you have the Deluge Colossus weapon, which I'm going to assume kind of helps you, it says right here, it helps you kind of sink other planets that are not ocean-based. I wonder how it kind of works on ocean planets. But basically, I guess you sink other dry planets, you could say, and then you could possibly make it livable for your own species and just swim around kind of in this planet full of corpses. So if you're kind of into that, dive right in, no pun intended. And then we have the Angler Civic, adept at utilizing nature's bounty. This society provides itself for a stable influx of sustenance and economic value. I won't get into the specifics, but it seems to just further buff ocean worlds. So again, very, very exciting. They are not holding back, kind of like with the Necroids. These are straight buffs, not too many debuffs I see. So very, very rewarding playstyle to kind of focus around oceans. And again, just very, very nice features. They're not holding back, holding any punches, and I'm glad to see the devs kind of go to the full extent of their capabilities here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I rarely do Stellaris videos, but I thought I'd at least owe it to Paradox to do a video quickly on the Aquatics pack, which is very, very promising. All right, love you guys. See ya.